to my channel. Today we are going to be starting a new reading vlog. So it is Saturday morning. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I finally sat down and the cats are here, everybody's here, so we are ready to dive into this weekend's reading. Now, I just finished my first week back, full week back at school. So I am tired, but I'm very much looking forward to doing some reading this weekend and finishing a book and possibly starting another book. So, plans for this vlog. This is really just gonna be a weekend in my reading life. I am, let's give you an accurate percentage here, 79% into Nocticadia. This book I am really hoping to finish this weekend because number one, I'm loving it, and number two, I just want to finish it so I can read something else. Because I've been working on this for a while. This is like over 600 pages and it is really good. There's a lot to it that's not just the romance, which I really appreciate it, and it's just perfect fall vibes, dark academia. It's on an island. There's creepy worms. There's some secret society. Like, there's everything you could want. So definitely hoping to finish Nocticadia. A couple books I have on my radar to start after that. The first one I got from the library, the very secret society of irregular witches. I have heard so much about this and that people love it. I cannot stand the title. Like, every time I try to find this book at the library, I cannot remember all the words. There's so many words. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do we need a 7-word title? I digress. This is described as cutesy, cozy, witchy little romance, and it's supposed to be very good for this time of year, obviously. And I feel like after Nocticadia, I can work with some cutesy, cozy vibes, okay? This is dark and spooky. This is gonna be just fun. So this one I might start if I'm in the mood for it, but the one I'm really kind of feeling like I want to read is Someone in the Attic, which was one of my book of the month picks. This is a thriller. It's really short. I'm in the mood to binge a thriller. I have not read a thriller that I loved probably since The Night Swim, which was I read that in June. We're in September. I am possibly thinking about starting this one because I feel like this will be quick. I don't think this will be a perfect thriller, but I think it will be good. It's essentially, the premise is there's a girl at home and she hears some noise coming from the ceiling, and someone comes in and kills her. And then her friend sees a video of that and realizes that her friend was killed, and then goes on I guess the hunt to find out who it is. And they're saying, unless of course it's not a stranger at all, because duh, you think there's gonna be some stranger coming through your attic? It's somebody you know, most likely. So will it be perfect? I don't know. I haven't read anything by this author, Andrea Mara. This is her debut, her US debut. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be good. But this morning, I'm just gonna get some good hours of reading in. I have a few solid hours of nothing. It is a beautiful morning out here on the porch. We have the fall blanket out. We have the kitty cats. Everybody's comfy. So I'm gonna get comfy and get started on my reading. And I will update you all shortly.
have to say, I had to just stop for a second to update you guys because I have to say that I love the way that this book gives you a little bit of everything. The main thing that I was interested in this book, I mean, it's a dark academia gothic romance. Okay, so we know there's going to be romance, but the plot is so strong and so well done, and that is what initially kind of hooks you into the book. Then like the middle part, you get kind of the romance and you get the spice and you get that aspect of it, and then there's a turning point like 75% in where you're like, oh shit, like things are about to happen. So I'm just loving how this book is structured, because there was a point in the romance part where I was like, okay, like I hope this isn't all that this book is going to be, because I'm like actually interested in the plot and like what's going on and the study and what's happening with the worms and the noctosoma, and is he going to find a cure, and what's going to happen, and the rooks and the secret society. Like there's so much happening. There's so much happening. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot to wrap up in the last 25%, but that's kind of what we're getting into now. And I'm just loving it. I think this book is going to get really popular now. I have no idea when this came out, but this is a solid dark academia read. So Carrie Lake is, maybe I'm going to read more by her, because very impressed.
It is Sunday morning. Yesterday got away from me a little bit, so I have not updated you, but I did get a lot of reading done yesterday. So I ended up finishing Nocticadia, and I rated it 4.5 stars. I loved it. I loved it. It was great. I would say the first 25% like got me into the plot with Lilia and all her trials and tribulations trying to get out of Covington and getting her letter of acceptance to Nocticadia out of nowhere and going to the island of Dracadia and kind of trying to fit in. I feel like that story right at the beginning is so relatable. If you've been to college, you know how hard it is to like leave your home, even if it's a shitty home. Even if you're like dying to get out, it's hard to leave and like make a new life and like figure out how to operate in this new place with people who are not like you and people who have a lot more than you. I definitely experienced that when I went to Syracuse. I feel like there were a lot of girls there that were like super wealthy, and like I was like, who are going to be my friends? I don't know. These girls are not relatable to me. Like, I don't understand. So I liked that. And of course, like the academia part of it, of her like going to class and listening to Professor Bramwell's lectures about the worms and noctosoma. Really interesting. Loved that. And then like, I feel like the middle 50%-ish, we got like the romance aspect of it. Definitely heavy on the spice. Wow. Which was fine. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was a good build up to their physical relationship. I feel like the build up was good, and it was interesting how she kind of uses her powers of manipulation on him, which was not what I was expecting. So I really enjoyed that, and I thought Carrie Lake did such a good job of like wrapping that part up and getting back to the plot, which was really the reason that I wanted to keep reading this book. The plot is fantastic, very, very interesting. So many twists that I was not expecting. in the last like 30 to 25% of the book. I kind of wish there was another one coming. I know this is a standalone, but the ending, I was like, are we getting another book? I do know that there's a novella related to this, so maybe that was kind of like Carrie Lake's little bone that she threw to us. But I loved it. I said to my sisters the other day when I was reading it, I was like, this is one where I wanted to choose it because it was a standalone, because I don't need another series to start. But now I'm kind of like, I like these characters. I kind of wish there was more. So 4.5 out of 5 stars if you want to read the like dark academia, fall, spooky, spicy professor student, but not in a creepy way, because you know that could be very weird. Not in a creepy way, okay? Nocticadia. I'm definitely gonna be reading more of Carrie Lake's books. Her new book just came out. I don't know how to say the title, so I'll put it here, but her new book just came out, and it's like witchy, and there's something about a forest. If you go in, you can't come out, which I'm like, oh my God, this sounds so good, but like I cannot read another 700-page book in September. I read Keeping 13, that's over 600, and Nocticadia is over 600. So I'm tapped out for long books. I need something a little shorter. So I said the books on my radar yesterday to start after Nocticadia are The Very Secret Society of Regular Witches. You see, I can never remember it. And Someone in the Attic, the thriller. I tried to start Someone in the Attic yesterday, and it was not doing it for me. So, what did I do? I picked up Phantasma. I read 20 pages of Someone in the Attic. I read 20 pages of this. I said, let me read 20 and 20 and see which one I'm wanting to read. This is right from the beginning, so good. Like, I think right now I'm just like not feeling anything realistic. Like, I did my contemporary romance, like rom-coms, realistic stuff in the summer. Now is the time for magic. So Nocticadia was like a little taste, because it's not magic, but it's a different world than the world that we live in, but still sort of realistic to the world. This is like magic in here. I did not know there was going to be magic. So Phantasma follows Ophelia, who just lost her mother, and her mother's magic, when she died as a necromancer, was passed to Ophelia. So now Ophelia has powers that a necromancer has, which I guess is just seeing dead people. But there's lots of like different types of dead people that they can see. But anyway, her and her sister find out that her mom was like in some financial trouble and took some loans out on the house, and they're going to lose their house that's been in their family for generations. Ophelia's sister Genevieve tries to solve this financial problem by going to Phantasma, which is like a competition where you have to live in this spooky house that literally appears out of nowhere, and for 9 days, and whoever is the last person alive at the end of it wins something. They don't even tell you what you win. But the first thing you have to do to get into Phantasma is to tell them, they look inside your mind for your greatest fear. So they make this whole haunted house experience like specific to each person to try to get people to either quit, or a lot of people end up dying. And it is just, it's rolling. It's rolling. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be reading this morning. As you can hear, I'm getting a little sick, so I'm going to be trying to drink some hot beverages. I have my water bottle. I'm very excited to see what happens with this. I think this is going to be a quickie. I know it's 400 pages, something. 400 something. Oh, it's almost 500. I just said I can't read another long book, and I'm picking up a 500-page book. This is my life. This is the problem with being a mood reader, though, is like, yeah, did I make a September TBR? Of course I did. Will I follow it? Debatable. That's why I try to put a lot of different things on my TBR, because depending on the mood that I'm in, I have different genres to pull from. But now I'm really feeling freaking like magic, fantasy kind of stuff. My Kindle Unlimited subscription is not helping my TBR at all, because I just keep downloading books that I want to read. I'm craving vampires, though. So if you have any vampire recommendations, hit me with them, because honestly, what got me into reading as an older person when I was in high school was Twilight. Twilight, my mom read it, she gave it to me. I fucking devoured those books. I would be on the bus with my big ass Twilight book on my lap in the back seat, reading on the way to school, reading on the way home, because it was so good. The second I got home, up to my bedroom, gotta read Twilight. So, craving vampires. But for now, we will do ghosts, devils, and other ghouls. So, hopefully I will actually update you later today, because this reading vlog is only for the weekend. Because it's just a kind of a realistic reading weekend for me as a person who works, who has to clean a house, who has to take care of dogs and cats, who has to run errands, and, who has responsibilities. So I will check back in with you in a little bit. We are 106 pages into Phantasma. I'm giggling. This is a scary book. Don't get me wrong. But I am giggling. The banter is so good. She's literally falling in love. Well, the MMC is a phantom. So by this author's definition, a phantom is a type of ghost. It's the most corporeal and powerful type of ghost. So the Phantom, Blackwell, is toying with her, teasing her. It's adorable. She's saying things like she was again struck with the desire to know more about him. She's saying things like something about him disarmed her in a way that was concerning. Ma'am, she's in this house where things are going to try to kill her, and she's like, why do I like this man? Why does he make me blush when he comes near me? I'm like, okay. So they're at the point where they're like gonna make a deal. This is reminding me a lot of like Sign Here. You read that book? That's like about hell and a devil who's got to like make a deal with one more family member in order to get himself out of hell. It's giving me those vibes because it's like kind of funny at points. Like they're joking, even though they're in this scary ass house where doorways lead to fucking scary ass creatures who try to kill you. There's a ghost cat. Love that. I mean, it's just, this is great. This is great. I'm having a great time reading this. So excited to see what happens and how they're going to mix this whole like survive the house business and fall in love with the Phantom. Who knows? This is very, very enjoyable so far. Okay, here we are for our last update of the weekend. It is Sunday night. We are in our pajamas, freshly showered. I finally washed my hair and ready to update you guys. So today I got to about 150 pages into Phantasma, which has been just so much fun. If you liked Hunger Games and Fourth Wing, you should definitely read Phantasma, because the games element of it and like the tasks and trials that those characters had to go through and survive is very similar vibes to this book. So in this book, it's in a haunted house, and each level, there are 9 levels, and each level is like a level of hell. So where we're at with our character Ophelia is she just went through the first level, and because she's a necromancer, she has a little bit of an upper hand. But that aspect where it's like kind of very cutthroat and all the other characters are kind of trying to kill you because it gets them closer to the finish line, those are the vibes. Definitely kept me very, very entertained already. And then there's the romance aspect of this story where Ophelia is falling in love with Phantom. And I am obsessed with him. He is an acts of service man. So he offers her a deal. She doesn't want to make a deal just yet. She's ready to try to get through all of these hellish trials on her own. So what does he do? The second that she gets out of that round of like the challenge, and there's another character that's kind of fucking with her, he steps in so fast to save the day. And I'm here for it. I do not know how this romance is going to progress alongside this very like intense survival story where she has to survive each of these levels of hell. But I am so excited to find out. So for me this weekend, it was a very successful reading weekend. I finished Nocticadia, gave that 4.5 stars. Absolutely love that book. Would recommend to anybody. I started Phantasma, got about 150 pages into this bad boy. And I was also listening to an audiobook of Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. Now, I have been reading Riley Sager kind of since the beginning. I haven't read his entire backlist, but I've read Final Girls, I've read Home Before Dark, loved both of those. I read Survive the Night, which is where I got a little dicey. The House Across the Lake also. And then recently I read The Only One Left, which I was not about it. So I don't know why I continue to put myself through this, but I am kind of one of those people where I'm like, I don't want to be left out. I want to know. I want to read this book because I feel like everybody has read it. Even if my sister, whose reviews I trust, gave it not a good rating, I'm going to try it out. So we're about 50% into that audiobook. Spoiler alert, nothing has happened. So we're kind of just plodding along in this mystery. This book is about a man who comes back to his hometown, and he's living in his parents' house where 30 years prior, his best friend was kidnapped while he was there. So he has like big survivor's guilt. I have a feeling this is going to be another one of Riley Sager's books where there's like a little bit of like spooky ghost things happening. He tends to like insert some like magical elements in, and that doesn't always work. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen. I am going to finish this audiobook. I mean, it's fine. Like it's not a bad audiobook. And I do want to read this book because it's the first Riley Sager book that has a mailman character, which I thought was really interesting. So we are also in the middle of that. So that is the end of this weekend reading vlog. Thank you for coming through a weekend in my reading life. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chit chat about these books. And if you have any recommendations for more fall reads, please put them below. Please subscribe and consider liking this video if you made it this far. I'm going to continue making them whether you do that or not, but it will be much appreciated. And I will see you guys again next week. Bye.